What's going on, guys? I am so excited. I know Passion Camp is right around the corner. Um, I've heard so many crazy stories and costume ideas from our teens for what they're going to wear for Squad Wars. And so I'm really excited, but I also know that there's still a lot of questions. And so hopefully for this video, I can answer some of those things for you. But if something doesn't get answered, please do not feel afraid to email me or call me so I can address any concerns you have, okay? First of all, let's talk about safety, okay? And so we're going to use the buddy system. And so that means no matter what age you are, no matter where you are, you need to be with someone else from our group who is the same sex. And so if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to go get snacks, okay, no matter what you do or where you want to go, you need to bring someone with you. If you don't have a buddy, get with an adult who can go with you, or we will find someone who is willing to go with you, okay? Speaking of being alone, okay, guys and girls cannot be alone behind closed doors, okay? Nor can any adult of the opposite sex be behind closed doors with a student, okay? That just can't happen. If you need to have a personal conversation or something like that, listen, find an open space that's still kind of tucked away from other people. Or what I would suggest is bring someone you trust. Bring along someone you trust to have that conversation, okay? But we cannot be behind closed doors alone with someone of the opposite sex, okay? The other thing, we have to stay on property. And so if we're at the hotel or if we're at the stadium, we need to stay on hotel or stadium property, okay? We don't need to leave. The only time that you can be off of hotel property is if you have one of our adults go with you, okay? That also kind of goes for swimming. There will be a pool, there's going to be a beach, there's going to be lots of free time, okay? And so we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that adults are at the beach or at the pool at all times. We're going to kind of do like a little circle rotation to make sure we have an adult watching our teens in the pool. But with that, you know, if our adults, or if I feel at any time that something's unsafe, or you know, if at the pool at the hotel people are just being too wild, you know, and I just don't feel comfortable with the situation, guys, we have the right to sort of pull the plug and just do something else, okay? Remember, we have to stay safe. Speaking of the beach, Florida has a flag system. And so Florida has their own kind of specific rules, but for us, the way this is going to go is if there is a double red flag, that means there's no swimming. Now, that's Florida law. There is no getting in the water for a double red, okay? If there is a single red flag, I don't want any student to be anywhere deeper than knee deep, you know, ankle deep, shin deep. We need to stay pretty close to the shore, okay? I don't mind you kind of getting there and getting a little bit wet, but we don't need to be out there wading out there in the deep end. If it's a yellow flag, waist deep. And if it's a green flag, or I think it's a purple flag, we never, ever need to be any deeper than chest deep, and that's chest deep flat-footed. We never need to be that deep in the water where the water's over our head. Guys, rip currents are a real thing, and you can get swept away a lot faster than you think, okay? Let's talk about schedule, okay? We are leaving Wheels Up at 5:30, and that means Monday morning. And so that means have your teen here about 5 o'clock, okay? Because there's going to be like a little bit of a check-in process. You're going to be able to sign into GroupMe. We'll have like a little, it's basically a messaging application that's a way for me to stay in touch with parents, but more importantly, a way for me to stay in touch with every teen that's on the trip so that I can send out mass communication about where we need to be, or what's going on sort of next. And so we'll be Wheels Up at 5:30. Try to have a little snack but we will stop at 7 o'clock at Buc-ee's and have breakfast. And so just have a little snack on your way in. And then we'll stop at Buc-ee's. We're going to stop at Chick-fil-A for lunch on our way there, and then we will be at the hotel hopefully around 4 to 5 o'clock. And then That night we will feed them pizza. That's going to be on us. We're going to cover that, and then we'll have a night session. And then for the next 3 days, basically the schedule is the exact same. Okay, and so we'll wake up, we'll have breakfast. That's on us. We're going to provide basically fruit and bars and stuff like that for your kids to eat. And then we'll go to the arena. We'll do what's called Squad Wars, and so every morning they have this thing called Squad Wars, and basically what it is all the churches and all the groups are kind of divided up into one of four colors. Our church is red, and so what that means for you is have your kid this weekend go out and get as much red stuff you can find: red socks, red shirts, red shorts, red wigs, red face paint, paint your nails red. We're talking about kids that are talking about dressing up as hot dogs and Elmo and stuffed animal, whatever you can think of that's red that you want to wear, get it and wear it. If you want to make a sign or something like that, we want to rep, we want to win. And so we'll have Squad Wars, and then the church or the camp will put on their own like little session. There'll be worship and a teaching, and then they'll provide lunch. And so we'll get lunch, we'll get on our charter bus, and we'll go back to our hotel. There'll be a lot of free time, which we'll talk about a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about free time here in a minute. But then we'll get back on the bus. There'll be an evening session. Dinner will also be provided by Passion Camp, and then we'll come back. We'll have a little bit of a small group time I say small group, big group time. We're all going to kind of talk about the session, talk about the evening. There might be some little activities we're going to do as a group. And then we're lights out, okay? And then that kind of repeats. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the same thing. On Friday, we load up. We're trying to leave. We are leaving at 8 o'clock. That means students, you need to be awake at 6:30, 7 o'clock. In fact, you need to pack the night before and make sure that everything is ready. So we'll wake up, we'll have a little bit of breakfast. We're going to leave. We're going to make one stop at Chick-fil-A for lunch, and then hopefully my plan is for us to be back at 6 p.m. Friday afternoon. Okay, let's talk about free time. First thing, guys, we need spending money. Parents, we need spending money. Your kids is gonna need money, especially for food. Okay, food there and back, but they're gonna want to get snacks. They want to get souvenirs, stuff like that. And so make sure that you not only send them with a little bit of spending money, but you also talk to them about what that money is for and how much should be allocated to each thing. What we don't want is for on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we've had this happen, a student to spend all his money and then have nothing for the rest of the trip. And so make sure you have that conversation. If you want your kid or want to be absolutely sure, you could email me and I'll talk with your kid or try to do my best to kind of stay on top of what they're spending their money on. The next thing is in our free time, or just overall, guys, we need to dress appropriately. We don't need to wear anything that's revealing, guys. Remember what we're here for. Okay, I know this is going to be a fun time. It's going to be a great time, but guys, we're here to grow closer to Jesus and to follow God. Okay, and so we need to honor Him, not just in the way we talk, not just in the way we act, but in the way we dress. Okay, let's talk about. We're going to be at the beach a lot. Okay, and so we need to make sure two things. Number one, we have sunscreen. Apply, apply, apply. You need to apply and reapply all day. Okay, second thing, you need to drink water. We're going to have water out there on the beach with us. Make sure you are constantly drinking water because you will get dehydrated and you will pass out. I have seen it. Okay, and so make sure you're drinking water. Bring a hat. Bring some kind of bucket hat, whatever crazy hat you want to wear. Bring something that's going to protect your face and your head from the sun, okay? Let's talk about hygiene, okay? And so I know it's a teen camp, and so it could get kind of a little hairy, a little wild. I've heard some stories from Mike about last year's camp. Guys, we need to shower every day. We need to brush teeth every day. We need to wear deodorant and reapply deodorant every day. We need to keep not only ourselves clean, but we need to keep our space clean, okay? Remember, we are sharing these hotel rooms with 3 other students, okay? And so We need to make sure that we don't leave trash in an open space, that we don't leave open containers with food. We don't want dirty clothes on the floor. Nobody likes that smell. Nobody likes to be in that kind of environment. And so, parents, send something for your, whether trash bag or something that your kids can keep their dirty clothes in, okay? Let's talk about hotel rooms. And so, every student, all the rooms are already assigned. Every student, all of our students are separated by sex, first of all. So there's no guy and girl mix in any room. In a couple of my rooms, or I think only one right now, we have a room where 2 adults and 2 students are in a room. And so your kid is most likely going to be in a room with 4 other kids, not just the same sex, but most likely the same grade. And so I've tried to keep them, say 7th and 8th graders together, 6th and 7th graders together, high schoolers. And I've tried to keep everybody within their same age range. I don't have the information on exactly what specific room you're in. I won't know that till I get to the hotel that morning. But if you have a question about who your kid's rooming with, just send me an email, and I'll try to get you that list of who they're with. The other thing too is all of our chaperones will be assigned a room. And so before we have lights out every evening, our chaperones are going to do a little knock check and make sure that every kid is in the room that they are assigned in, okay? Not their friend's room, not this other room. They need to be in the room that they were assigned in when we get there, okay? Speaking of lights out, okay, lights out for us is 11:30, okay? That means at about 10:30, 10 o'clock, you need to go ahead and start prepping for bedtime. That means you need to take a shower and do all the stuff you need to do. At lights out, that means literal lights out. So it's not just turn the lights off in the room, it's turn the light off on your phone. We're gonna have long days. You're gonna have to get up a little bit earlier than you're used to in the summer. So we need to make sure we're getting rest. If you sleep to music, my ask would be make sure you have headphones, okay? Because we don't all have the same music tastes. Not everybody can fall asleep to music, and so just make sure you have something where that can be a little bit more private. With the phones, my one big thing on that is we cannot be watching inappropriate media, okay? We can't have inappropriate language. We can't be looking at explicit images or anything like that. I know with TikTok and all this kind of stuff, we cannot have it, okay? And so there's going to be kind of a, with the phones, basically be like this. If I find out that your child has watched or shown something that's inappropriate, there'll be a warning. We're going to sit down and talk about it. The second time, we're going to take the phone until we leave on Friday. We can't have that, okay? With any of these rules, guys, I typically have kind of a three strike policy. And so the first time is a warning. We're going to talk about, hey, just a reminder, this is the rule, et cetera, et cetera. If it happens again, I'm going to sit down with a leader with you, and we're going to talk about what's expected. We're going to talk about you need to do this, you have to stop doing this. The third strike is going to be I'm going to start calling parents, and nobody wants to be in a situation where parents are talking about having to drive 8 hours to Daytona to pick their kids up because they can't follow a couple of rules. I mean, the reality is this, guys, nobody wants to be the person who gets in trouble at camp, right? And nobody wants to be around the person who's constantly getting in trouble at camp, okay? So we need to stay on top of these sort of few things. I know rules can feel like they're constricting and they're trying to make me do this, and we're anti-fun, but the reality is, guys, following this stuff allows you to have the maximum fun, okay? Not putting yourself in dangerous situations, not being around people that you're unfamiliar with, making sure your space is clean, making sure you're constantly showering, making sure that you're taking care of for the heat with the sunscreen and all that stuff. All that stuff is meant to protect you, okay? So I think that's everything that we need to cover. If you have any more questions, like I said, don't be afraid to email me at matt.wood@mosaicgc.com, or you can call me at 228-447 pull this. 228-447-3145. Sorry, that's my office number. And I will gladly talk to you about any question you have, okay? Thank you for watching this video. I am really, really excited. I know we're only just a couple of days away. And so make sure you get that red stuff. We want to rock it out. We want to blow it away, okay? So thank you, parents. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.